One of the interesting things that I've noticed when, for example, creating a character with children and teens, even young adults, is when we start trying to create a character based on themselves, as they see themselves. It can be difficult for some people to identify strengths. It's real easy to identify problems that we're having, weaknesses that we have. And when I let them know that we're doing a standard array for their attributes, and I have to ask them, what is your strongest attribute? Some people have difficulty with that, I guess a surprising amount of people, and it does take some discussion sometimes to identify those strengths, because we can't be good at everything and we can't be bad at everything, but some people see themselves that way. So when we start looking at it not as this is good and this is bad, but these things are different and they're good and bad in different ways, it makes it a little bit easier because we're not having to rate ourselves on a scale of 1 to 10. We can look at what are things that I like about myself instead of what are, what am I bad at, what am I good at. You'd be surprised, I guess, how many adults get into this as well. We might not do as much like blatant role-playing one-on-one with adults, but talking about the fantasy settings and the different characters and attributes and all of that can be beneficial for any age group if that's something that they're interested in. And one of the ways that I do this is, so for example, we'll get out the player's handbook and we'll actually create a character. And sometimes we'll create a character about, who do you wish that you could be? Or we might do some more insight development about who do you think that you are? And how is that different from who you want to be? And that can lead us to talking about things like childhood development or personality traits or strengths and weaknesses in ways that are a lot more fun because it's, elves and dwarves and magic instead of just, Freud and all of that. Yeah, I would definitely recommend this for families, and I have in the past. Just letting them know about what it is. I've actually had families where one of the parents used to play tabletop role-playing games in the past and just haven't in a long time. And I've had families who have no experience with it whatsoever. And if we're trying to work on certain qualities, it's a great family activity if you've got, even 3 or 4 or more people in the family and they're all open to working on this. It's great because if one kiddo in the family is trying to work on leadership skills or self-confidence, we might, make them the leader of the group. They create a character who's, in charge, and somebody else is working on, thinking things through. Then we might make them more of a magic user where they have to prepare stuff ahead of time and think about what situations they're going to be in. And then, mom and or dad might take more of a sort of a back seat role and play support. Maybe they're working on being more supportive. So, whether they agree or disagree, they have to follow the kids for once. And it's just a great family activity. It's not like a game where somebody wins and somebody loses, because tabletop role-playing games are not about win and lose. It's about the story that we tell and the journey, not the destination, that we all hear so much about. So it doesn't matter even if your whole party gets, destroyed. Like, how did you get there? Was it an epic battle scene? And even if you lose, it might still be a really memorable experience that everybody walks away happy with. I would definitely encourage anybody who's even thinking about tabletop role-playing or role-playing video games or any of that to go ahead and look into it. Dive in. Grab yourself a player's handbook, or you don't even really have to. The information's online and it's free. And the communities are out there. There's always people looking for more players. And what have you got to lose? It's a great activity. It's a great way to gain some community support and people who don't necessarily know you and people who definitely won't judge you. Most of the people in the role-playing community are very non-judgmental. They're very accepting. They want people to join in. So if you're looking for somebody, some form of support, an activity that's just going to be fun and, a chance to let go, role-playing games is definitely a great way to go. If you're thinking about it, jump in.